Steve Ray here from Berkshire Real Estate, and today I'm here in our downtown Pittsfield office, and I'm joined by Bob Tucker, Tony Clement, and Steve Bateman to talk about the Jimmy Fund, some of the fundraisers that are coming up, and the support that this community throughout the county, but particularly here in the central part, the support we give to the Jimmy Fund. For those of you who don't know, the Jimmy Fund and Dana-Farber have played an important role in my life. My father went to Dana-Farber for 7 years before he passed away, and Dana-Farber saved my son's life. And the Ray family has been forever dedicated to the support of Dana-Farber for what they've done for us and many of my friends and people I know throughout the community. Today we're here to talk about those things and more. Starting with Bob Tucker, the president of the local Jimmy Fund Council.
Good morning. A little bit about the Jimmy Fund Council and who we are. We are the fundraising wing of Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston and the Jimmy Fund. Our Berkshire County Council is starting its 42nd year in existence. It was founded by Paul Dowd. Paul, who many people may remember, was a city councilman. Paul was just probably the kind of guy you meet maybe once or twice in your life if you're lucky. He was that special a person. Tony can attest to that. He got very sick many years ago, and he decided that if he ever got well again, he would do something to give back, and he did that and then some. He, through Mike Andrews, who was a former minor league baseball teammate of him in the Boston Red Sox system, decided to start a Jimmy Fund Council since Mike was the executive director of the Jimmy Fund at the time in Boston. And Paul began that council with 9 other originals. That is now going into its 42nd year. We have now probably 25 active members, and we have 4 events every year, and all the money we raise at those events is donated to Dana-Farber Cancer Institute for cancer research and treatment in Boston. We have the Paul Dowd Jimmy Fund Golf Classic, the Harry Bateman Fishing Derby, the Paul Dowd Glow Ball Punathon, which is quite an event, and the John Cody Jimmy Fund Little League Classic. We also have people who do events on our behalf. Polish Falcons, a program started by Tom and Penny Angelini called the Polenta Dinner comedy show through Rick Stores, RJ Stores. And those people provide money to us through those events that we donate to people in Berkshire County who have to travel to Boston, to Springfield, Albany, Worcester, wherever the case may be, to help with their lodging, to help with their food and transportation costs. And we know over the years people have been very appreciative of the amounts we've been able to give them. Money and gas cards generally is what we would donate. We would not be able to do that because all of our money goes to Boston. But that money that people give to us is earmarked specifically for people in Berkshire County.
So we've got 2 things going on there. We've got money that goes to the Jimmy Fund.
Right.
And let's talk about that for a minute. I've read where alarming statistics, American Cancer Society, only pennies of a dollar go to cancer. The rest is spent on administrative costs. That's different.
Right.
The Jimmy Fund.
Dana-Farber's, and I may be off a percentage point or 2 here, but I believe it was 87% of every dollar sent to them was sent into research and development. It wasn't into administrative costs. It was covered, but not obviously not covered by that amount. So what you're sending to Dana-Farber is going for research and development and treatment.
And every day,
straight on that, yes.
Yeah, every day it's making a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely.
Then the money raised locally through the Polish Falcons Shuffleboard, the Angelini Polenta Dinner,
Rick
Stores Comedy, and others.
Right. There are some other events that go on.
Supports the local people who may need the services of Jimmy Fund.
Absolutely, who will need. They may not always be Dana-Farber. Could be Mass General. Could be UMass Worcester. We've found people going all the way to Roswell and I think Rochester, New York. So wherever they may go, they may need help with finances for their travels. So that money is donated. We wouldn't have that money if it weren't for those other organizations.
Those other local events. Well, on that note, one of my favorite local events is the Herman Alexander's March Madness Tournament, which is in was 37 years this year?
37th year.
37 years this year. Tony can tell you some more about it, but a great group of guys 37 years ago got together, fantasy basketball league before there was even such a thing, and it's still going strong 37 years, and has made some pretty good donations to the Jimmy Fund. Tony, let's talk about that for a minute. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tony is a Senior Vice President of Wealth Management at Castle Investments.
Castle Investment Advisors.
Many years in a financial advisement role, and fortunately for the Jimmy Fund, he lends his talents to not only this, but several other fundraisers for the Jimmy Fund. Tony?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I just want to start with my actual roots with the Jimmy Fund go all the way back to Paul Dowd. Paul and I played softball for many years. He was a tremendous athlete, great guy, but an even better human being. And he was stricken with illness, and we had an event, a fundraiser for him at Cellar on North Street, and Paul ended up going to Dana-Farber, and Dana-Farber cured him, and then as you know, that's how he started the Berkshire County Jimmy Fund. And I have just seen the miracles that Dana-Farber has produced over the years. Steve's son, Paul Dowd, and then one of my dearest friends, Ron Boomer Bordeaux, who's been riding next to me in most of the Jimmy Fund golf tournaments, and I haven't missed any. This will be my 41st. But Boomer's always been driving a cart, and the Dana-Farber saved his life, and the stories just continue, and it's just close to my heart, and you can always count on me. But now the tournament, the March Madness draft. These guys, I mean, it started as a brainchild of myself, Coach Dave Hart, and Steve Huska, and we designed a fantasy draft for the March Madness NCAA basketball tournament 37 years ago, 14 teams. And of the 14 teams, most are original. You know, we've had a few added on, but these same group of guys, I mean, high school basketball coaches, referees, former players, and we have just hung on to this tournament. It is so much fun, and we've hung on to it for 37 years, and I'm not going to go into, of course, we've had people pass, but one of the most notable ones, you know, for the legacy part, you know, John Pericotti, who was on the original Jimmy Fund Council, and he passed, but his two boys, Pat and Kevin, they have had a team of their own 20 plus years. You know, it's a generational thing. And my role in it is just to keep these rather unruly characters in line, if you will. You know, I send out a nice complimentary invite letter, and then we get them at the draft, and I just run the draft, and you know, we get through that. And occasionally I'll send out some very encouraging words to the ones who are not doing that well in the tournament, right, Steve?
Absolutely, it's not for the weak, that's for sure.
And let me say a word about this gentleman to my right. Tony has been part of every golf tournament, all 40 of them to this point. He has run a kids triathlon, been part of the road race program we had for a while.
Yeah.
And obviously has done a tremendous amount beside his contribution from the March Madness tournament also to us. Even though he's never been an official member of the council, he's probably done more than some council members. So we appreciate his presence and what he does for us.
Yeah. Well, back to the March Madness tournament, and it's just really a lot of fun, and what we do with the money that, you know, the modest amount of money we make every year, we give it, you know, to the local Berkshire County Jimmy Fund in memory of my dearest friend who passed, Bill Jelly Jolinas, and also in memory of Bernie Powers in Chef Duluth. You know, so we keep the money local, send it right to the Jimmy Fund so that Mink and his council can help defer some of the expenses of travel and you know, for people heading out to the Dana-Farber. You know, so yeah, actually my roots go back another link with the Jimmy Fund is actually my career. As an investment advisor is linked to the Jimmy Fund because that's where I really got to know Jack Brennan. Jack Brennan was on the Jimmy Fund Council. Jack Brennan was my financial advisor at American Express Financial Advisors. And then at one point he offered me a position, and here I am. You know, so even my career, I can thank the Jimmy Fund for. You know, so. But back to the Jimmy Fund itself is just a wonderful organization. Dana-Farber works miracles. I've seen it. Mink, you can count on me.
Yeah, I know, we know that, Tom.
So, I'm good.
37 years, 40, 50 guys have been getting together.
Yeah, is your name on the trophy, Steve?
After 35 years, they finally got on the trophy, so I've been on the receiving end of those complimentary emails and letters that Tony sends out congratulating us on a regular basis.
We're coming in last.
Right, it builds character, believe me. So now we're going to talk to Steve Bateman. Steve's been running the Harry S. Bateman Fishing Derby in honor of his father for 32 years?
32 years.
32 years.
And I got a different path going to getting involved in the Jimmy Fund. I couldn't get my father down there, and we started the fishing derby. After he passed away, my wife, my good friend Steve Generous and his wife, along with a bunch of other friends, and we got this going, and it's turned into a great community program. It's the whole county's involved in it. You know, these gentlemen up here are one of my sponsors, along with Don Davis Heating, Craig from the Hot Dog Ranch, Mike Stewart from Berkshire County Repairs, and then the families like the Perro family. All my sponsors are all friends, Gable Electric and people like that. And the prizes we have and the support we get from everybody. And you know, this year we're going into 32 years, and we're gonna get 20 kids fishing this year that have never fished before. And crippled old busted bikers from Western Mass, they come out and they help out teach the kids fish, which is a great effort by them. And also last year was the first year I had a bilingual person there to translate Latin for people who didn't know how to speak English, and we had people come up, and that was another great asset to what we have going on. But we're looking forward to another great year, and we give out 15 prizes. These trophies like here, gotta say a good friend of all of ours on the council, the late Pete Jones, he was kind enough to make these trophies, and all the work he's done for the Jimmy Fund and amongst many other things. And he was a good guy and did many things for a lot of people too.
So how many people participate in the Jimmy Fund tournament?
We've been having over 300 people show up at this.
Incredible.
And it's beautiful seeing a child catch a fish for the first time, and that's one of the good things about it. They all come walk away with a hat. They all have a chance to win bicycles we have, food's included, and there's nothing better than seeing a child catch the fish for the first time, and many of that has happened at our fishing derby.
When is it, Steve? Let's tell us about
It's
that.
June 1st. It's at the Controy Pavilion at Anota Lake, 6:30 to 12, and everybody's out of there by 1 o'clock really.
Food,
Food.
music,
No music.
not this year?
No, not this year. There's no music. I play in the band, but there's no music. But we got food, hamburgers, hot dogs, coffee, donuts, soda. And what's great about it is we have no alcohol at this event. So all the families and single parents come up and they can feel comfortable with their children.
Great. So this organization has impacted the lives of many people in our community. No doubt about that.
Yeah, this gentleman over here, Stevie, I'll tell you too, another thing, he's done a lot of this work without a lot of counsel. I shouldn't say support, because we do support him obviously, but he does a great deal of the work on his own. He has for 32 years, and he deserves a lot of credit for doing what he's done, because he's carried that load. As the years have gone on, he's got more family members involved, but if you see he's a little boat in the back, that's probably why, because he's carried that load for a long time.
So Steve, just tell us quickly a little bit about, anybody can show up.
Yes, for adults or children.
What if they don't have fishing
Yeah,
equipment?
if they don't have fishing equipment, we usually even have enough equipment there maybe to supply some of the kids there. A lot of kids break a fishing pole and, you know, we'll have an extra one there. And sometimes we have extra ones for the parents. But it's all from, great friends and donations to help get this stuff, like you guys yourself.
What if you don't know how to fish?
And if you don't know how to fish, the crippled old busted bikers of Western Massachusetts, they're there and it's their third year doing it, and they were intimidated at first, but they had kids casting, they were shocked at how fast they had kids casting and catching fish for the first time. So that's another great thing, so. It's a
Steve,
great event.
So-
didn't your grandson catch a fish?
So, last year, my grandson, at 5 years old, caught his first fish of his life, and we'll include the picture in the link when we post this. You saw a picture of him. He was with my buddy Billy Mangiardi, and he pulled out a fish about this big. And if you saw the look on his face, you'd swear he just pulled out Moby Dick. And he talks about it today and is looking forward to being at the fishing derby again. The first year we went to the fishing derby, Steve gave us a pole and some tackle, and we put a worm on the hook, and we went up to the shore a little ways and kept casting out. And at one point my grandson looked up at me and said, "You think you can go get Steve to show us how to actually catch one?" So I said, "Sure, buddy." And the following year I brought in reinforcements with my buddy Bill, and he's now a fisherman. So really, I just want to emphasize a couple things. Is supporting Jimmy Fund supports Dana-Farber, right, cancer research, who are saving lives every single day. Supporting the local events, Polish Falcons,
Right,
Angelini's event,
Angelini, which is now run by Pete Sandrini.
Rick Store's comedy
Rick Store,
show.
one of Rick Store's comedy shows.
They help people locally.
I forgot to mention, one thing I should have mentioned here too is, we have, this started through Paul, and we never knew up until the day he died who the contact was, but he used to be able to get people to Boston quickly for evaluations. So we do now have a connection called Dana-Farber Direct Connect. If anyone is in need of getting to Dana-Farber, all they need to do is give me a call, and I can contact this wonderful, wonderful woman named Judy O'Brien at Dana-Farber, who's absolutely incredible at getting people to Boston. It goes back to what Boomer went through. She was our one who got Ron Bordeaux started. And I'll give you my phone numbers: 413-499-1099, 413-441-9155. If you ever need it, if you ever need a connection to Dana-Farber, please don't hesitate to call. If you ever need help, if you're in the process of dealing with the cancer, don't ever be afraid to call.
We will include that in the link below, all the contact info. And again, thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Steve. I know firsthand the wonders of
Yeah.
Dana-Farber and the Jimmy Fund.
I think we all do.
And unfortunately, it's touched the lives of most of us. But again, I'm thrilled to have guys like this in my community, I can tell you that. And I'm honored to call these guys my friends. And we really hope you'll support the Jimmy Fund in any way you can. Be part of these events, make donations. It isn't all about money. You can donate to the fishing derby. You can donate whatever you can. But remember, if you need anything, the link's gonna be below. If you need the services of the Jimmy Fund, certainly on a local level, regardless of your contributions or your efforts in the past, the Jimmy Fund knows no politics, and they're just there for one thing: to make sure everybody shows the same care that some of us have received down there. And our hopes is that the best thing, nobody would ever need the Jimmy Fund again, but we know that's not the case.
No.
Thank you guys for what you do for the community. Thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure.
And remember, so we got April
April
9th,
9th is the Polenta dinner at the Proprietor's Lodge.
Proprietor's Lodge, 13th and 14th,
shuffleboard tournament, the Polish Falcons.
Jimmy Fun,
June 1st.
June 1st.
Yep.
Golf tournament.
41st Jimmy Fund Golf Classic is June 12th at Berkshire Hills.
And March Madness, as space will allow. It's a pretty competitive event. Thanks, guys, for coming in. See you guys soon.